trays. Everybody's got one, right? Well, if you don't, you might not know what it is. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Simply put, it's a tray to hold your lunch and your drinks. Wait, that's not what a tool tray is? Okay, so on a serious note, what is a tool tray? It's simply that, a tray to hold all your tools. You might be asking, why do you need a tool tray? It's so that you can keep your work surface clean and you can concentrate on your projects and kind of stash all your tools in the back of your workbench. Let's go ahead and take a look at mine. Now here's the tool tray. As you can see, I've already stashed a couple of hand planes in there. Why do I have those hand planes in there? Why not something else? It's because I've been using those planes while I've been building this tool tray. It's been simple to make, all done with hand tools, and it's I got screws and glue holding it all together. The corners are just butt jointed together, but on the back side you can see that they have screws holding them together, and they've also been glued. The back side of the tool tray is rabbited in to this 2x4 on the back side. I did that for strength and so that it wouldn't bow later on. I was originally going to do dovetails on these back corners, but then opted out of it just because I wanted to go ahead and get it finished. Now, as you can see, I have a fairly decent sized work surface. It's 17 inches from the front to the back of the actual bench. And then the tool tray is just simply a 2x10 rabbited into the border frame. For this project, I didn't really want to show you guys a bunch of hand sawing and stuff like that, throwing a bunch of music together. I just pretty much wanted to build it, show you guys the outcome of it, and then go ahead and go into a little bit of detail about the joinery, how I got the rabbet and stuff like that with the tools I used. The first piece of the tool tray I worked on was the base. I had to create a ton on it that would be able to slide in to a groove that was around the outside of the frame. Now, to get the thickness of the ton, I had to actually look at my grooving plane and figure out how thick or how wide the blade was, so that it would be able to fit into the groove. And the depth of the cut really depends on just however thick you want to cut it, or however deep you want the ton to go into your frame. I chose a 1/2 inch. And the next part I did was put a straight piece of wood up on the board, measure off on 3 spots, a 1/2 inch off the edge, in the middle, the front, and the back side. Once I got all that, I simply, clamped it down, and then I took an old rabbiting plane and just started going to work. Now, the reason why I used a straight piece of board is I could rest my side up against it. So as I'm cutting, it stays straight along the other board, and it won't tip or rock. You have something to rest that edge on. And then I just worked it down till the ton was about a 1/2 inch thick. And I had a test piece that was actually just another 2x4, and it ended up turning into the side of my frame. And once I got close enough, I just kept doing test fits, and then I would just shave some off wherever I needed to, and then once it worked, I left it alone. So on your router table, what you would do, simply take a 1/2 inch straight cut bit. We want the depth to be a 1/2 inch in. So all you would do is start your bit low in the thing and just slide it over and make your pass all the way down, and then just go and raise it up a little bit at a time. You don't want to do too much at a time, or else you'll start burning it up and start forcing it, and you'll probably end up destroying your router. So work it a little bit at a time, and then you'll eventually get to work up to where you got that 1/2 inch ton. Alright, enough with the power tools. Let's get back to the hand tool work. The way I cut my groove is using my grooving plane. It's got a 1/2 inch iron, and the way that I got the measurement was because the 2x10 was 1.5 inches thick, and I put the ton all the way to the top side of the board. It was very simple. The outside edge of my iron had to be 1.5 inches high off the edge. So what I did was simply take my yardstick, measure from the fence to the side of the iron 1.5 inches. You clamp your board, and also real quick, I had to set my depth right here, and I just did that trial on error on my test piece, so that was already preset, but it's set it's just over 1/2 inch. That way the base of the tool tray allows for expansion and stuff like that. Okay, if you aren't into hand tools but you have a router table, you can get the exact same groove. All you gotta think is that the bit is considered the iron. So what you would have to do is make sure that the fence was 1.5 inches off of the furthest cutting point off your bit. And what you would do is just lower it until it's just sticking above your table, and then just slide your 2x4 over. And you make very light passes so that you don't take too much off at one time. And you would just keep on going across until you reached whatever depth you wanted, and then you can move on to the assembly portion of your whole entire table. Whether you use hand tools or power tools, it doesn't matter. I tried to show you guys both. I know I didn't run the router, but I hope that you guys were able to kind of see how it was going to happen. On the final joinery, like I said, all it is butt jointed together, glued and screwed. I had to add this 1x4 in here to take up some space because of measurement problems. I think the wood grew. I think that's what happened. But I'm going to be building on this a little bit more this week. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go like my Facebook page. Friend me on Twitter. You know, all that kind of jazz. And we'll see you guys later in the week.